Welcome to Doctrine and Devotion, a podcast exploring Christian faith and practice from a Reformed Baptist perspective. My name is Joe Thorne. I'm the lead pastor of Redeemer Fellowship in St. Charles, Illinois. And
I'm Jimmy Fowler, executive pastor at Redeemer Fellowship. I don't know what you're doing.
You're
what is
back.
going on?
You're
I'm back. I'm
hey,
here.
Whoa.
For now, yeah, I'm here.
Jimmy's back.
For now, yeah.
Oh.
No, you seem to be doing
man.
just fine without me.
Okay, well, first of all, it's
You
hard
seem
to
very
not,
happy.
Well, yeah, because Krista, Krista is an
I
all-star.
know.
Yeah,
She's
so,
fantastic,
yeah.
but I just feel like, listen, you've gone super woke, where you
Okay.
felt the need that you had to get rid of me and bring on someone of the female persuasion.
Yeah, but she's white. It cancels that out.
No.
Yeah, it does.
No.
Yeah,
no,
white female cancels out the gender thing.
No.
Doesn't work. She'd
Wait,
have to
what?
Say
it again?
Female,
Female cancels out gender?
No. Yeah, the whiteness cancels out
Her gender?
Oh yeah, the value of bringing on a woman, like, hey man, look at us, we're diverse. Like we don't just it's not just about the patriarchy here. But then you bring on a white woman, and it's like, oh, she's white though, so no big deal.
You see that ABC reporter? NFL news reporter, Hispanic woman.
Yeah.
She's being removed.
Okay.
Because she had the audacity
Okay.
to critique the NFL and Colin Kaepernick, and now she's being removed.
Yeah.
So
that's
what is that? Yeah. Great job, leftists.
Well,
done.
You see, man, like Sarah Silverman, like all
Yeah.
these people are like, why? Wait a minute. Why
What just happened? Oh, yeah. Well done.
Mm-hmm, that's
done.
that's the culture of the day. Destroy everybody if they don't hold to your particular ideology.
That's right. All right, so man, missed you.
Missed you too, man.
Yeah.
I've been waiting. I've been patient. Been gone a long time.
Mm-hmm. I was only gone for 2 weeks.
All right, so I wanted to ask you a question.
Why are you doing this?
No, I'm just curious.
There's something going on here.
No.
You're setting me up.
I'm just curious. Have you ever found, because you're a short guy. I mean, I'm a really short guy, but you are also a short guy. And I've always thought to myself, I'm pretty sure your legs are shorter than my legs. And I'm wondering, have you ever had to sit on a toilet that was so tall that your feet didn't touch the floor? Has that ever happened to you? At work, say?
So as soon as you start talking like that,
Have you ever had a new toilet installed, Jimmy, at work? That is like so tall, like you need a squatty potty stool rest so that your feet can touch the floor?
Steve McCoy, you are fired. Steve McCoy
Steve's like,
is fired.
yeah, he's like, Jimmy has to use my bathroom or the bathroom by my office because his bathroom is too big for him.
All that being said, I have a photo.
Of course you do. I know you would.
I have a photo of you
Oh, yes.
at this one.
Yeah, but my feet are touching the ground.
Nope.
Yeah, they are.
Nope.
I've seen the photo.
Swinging.
No way. Never happened in my life.
Once I Photoshop it, it's going to look like...
Now, you know whose feet are always touching the ground when he's going to the bathroom?
I don't know.
Matt Hensley.
Oh, Matt Hensley?
Because he's a tall ginger.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got it all going on. We got Matt Hensley on the podcast today. That's pretty cool.
Hey, Matt, how are you?
Hey, doing well. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, man, it's nice to see you. Your big beard and all of your gingerbread things behind you.
Well, there are gingerbreads behind me, but there's also more gray in my beard. I'm starting to look a little bit like you. First of having two teens, one preteen, and one right on their heels in the home. So,
you're going to have to stop running and start eating more. Well, probably with you eat a lot, but you run a lot.
I do eat a lot.
Now, Matt, hey, tell everybody about this thing. Our people who don't know you, well, let me do this. All right. Okay, so
What are you doing?
I'm going to read his bio. So people know who he is.
Now his proprietor bio, or was it like a bio over at his website, or maybe it's got to be the SBC website, like for the pastors conference. So that website.
No. I'm going to his
SBC
Tumblr.
Wait, what?
I'm going to his Tumblr. He's got a Tumblr. We're going back in time.
Does that still exist?
It does for him because I'm looking at it right now. MattHensley.com is a Tumblr website. I don't know why he's using Tumblr.
All right, what does it say?
All right. So if you don't know, Matt, I knew Matt when he's a pastor. He was a pastor guy running. But now he is the associational mission strategist of Collin Baptist Association in Fairview, Texas. That's right, Matt?
Is correct.
All right. Okay. So he's a husband. He's a father. He's got 4 daughters. Matt's a true Baptist in that he's a good Baptist thinker and theologian and preacher and all that. But he's a real Baptist in that he believes in cooperation and working together with other Baptist churches, even when they don't line up with his particular perspectives on everything. He's a true cooperating Baptist, and we love Matt. And we love his attitude, and of course his wicked long ginger beard. We love that as well. So, what were we going to talk about? I forgot.
Well, we're talking about. He also, though, he heads up
That's the new thing.
That's the new thing, right? Mm-hmm. You're heading up the SBC Pastors Conference going down in Anaheim, California. Was it June 2022? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like June 12th and 13th. Is that right, Matt?
Yes, sir.
Just before the SBC.
Right before.
Man.
Okay. Right before the SBC explodes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Explodes.
Implode. Yeah, something's gonna happen. There's a lot of Matt. What's going on, man? Why is everybody so? Why is everything so busted up in our convention right now?
So I don't know, because most of those words and people are muted on Twitter for me.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Well done.
I live in this bliss of everybody gets along and is working together and doing great things at their churches, because that's kind of what I get to see. But at the end of the day, I think the ground level pastors and so forth in the churches are doing good work all across the nation and really all across the globe with missionaries. And that's something that I'm passionate about. Y'all mentioned the cooperation side, that I know there's going to be people that I disagree with or strongly so, but yet we agree on the essential stuff. Yeah. And I think we can do a whole lot more together than, my church that was in Mayhill or your church there in Chicago. And so it's just a joy to kind of see how we can work together and do a whole lot more when we kind of link those arms together.
Yeah, that's great. Honestly, though, you're probably like maybe 60% of your churches are probably woke and falling into the abyss of theological compromise, so that the gospel is denied. That's you're seeing that in your association.
Yeah, I'm seeing more like maybe 98.9%. Yeah.
Okay. It is so frustrating, man, that like we've got these alarmists that I want to say I think they have good intentions, but holy smokes, I think there are so many people that are on the fringes making so much noise that is not in line at all with what I see happening at our local church level. All the pastors that I know that are SBC, all the pastors that I get to work with or see at these events, man, they love Jesus, they love the church, they're getting it done, they're working hard. We all have a lot of change and repenting to do, but I am concerned about the loud voices, and I'm hoping that as volatile as this next SBC could be, I'm really hoping that it turns out, I hope God surprises us, and maybe the Pastors Conference can be a help in that.
Yeah. I certainly hope so. Something in my role of, associational mission strategist, I'm still figuring out what that means beyond just taking people out to lunch and so forth. Mm-hmm. But, we've got churches, maybe to the right of me, a little to the left of me, but all, really championing church planting and mission work here. Reaching out to some of the hurting people in our own area, how much it's growing, and the vast homelessness that we have, all of that kind of stuff. But then cooperating, on the state level, the national level, to do what we do as Southern Baptist. And so I do hope that the Pastors Conference itself is going to set the tone for a time, really centering ourselves around God's Word, the exposition of it, and just that call to unity that we have. That we're going to disagree on a lot of things. My pastor now, we sit around in his office and disagree about, the soteriology or eschatology all the time. But he's my pastor. I love him, and I'm learning from him every single day. And I think the same thing is true for the SBC. We've got people that we're going to disagree with, but as we rally around Christ and our call on the gospel to spread it as far as we can, and that's just something I think can be endearing and maybe set the tone for what, like you said, could be a very volatile thing. But I also think in previous years, I haven't been going a whole lot, maybe the last 4 or 5 years, but there's always a whole lot of noise leading up to it. And then you get there and it's generally very overwhelmingly united once we get in the room together. And I think that just reminds me of how much better it is to have an argument or a discussion over a cup of coffee or hanging out with somebody right with them versus just launching those barbs over social media behind a keyboard. And so you get everybody in the room together and get to have those conversations. I think God can do some great work.
Now, listen, you're doing a pastors conference. Let's be honest. A lot of pastors conferences are terrible. They're really bad. And I've been an SBC guy for a long time, and I've been to a lot of SBC events, and they've been pretty bad. I've seen some really bad preaching, and not because it's not Reformed or Calvinistic or whatever. I just mean I've been to bad events, and not all of them. Some of them have been great, but I think we've all been to conferences where you're just like, what are we doing here? And you show up and it's like, oh, wow. Okay. So you brought in all the heavy hitters that are all having the same message, and they're all kind of these like mega church guys. And, like that doesn't really relate to people that well, why or how are you encouraging people to give the SBC Pastors Conference a chance? Because I know in my conversations with people over the years, like they would be like, yeah, I'm not, I know a lot of people go, but I know a lot of people are like, yeah, why would I go? Why would I go to a pastor's conference when I've been to some of that stuff before, and it's always been kind of like, oh, here comes James McDonald to lecture me, as he misinterprets the law or whatever. So how would you encourage people to consider, hey man, let's give this pastor's conference a chance? I mean, I want to encourage people to give it a chance, but what do you say to those people? What's going on with this coming conference?
So it's certainly going to be very difficult to compete with Disneyland. To be very transparent here, I certainly wanted to be in Nashville leading that one in the sense that wouldn't really be competing with that, would be competing with the Grand Ole Opry, and I thought I could handle that one pretty easily. But when it comes to Disneyland, there's a big draw when you're bringing your family across the country to be going there. But man, I think the best thing I can say to really encourage people to go is just to share the joy that I had of selecting these guys. I made a kind of really a commitment to myself that I wasn't going to just go and pick my 12 favorite preachers. I have 12 favorite preachers, and I love these guys, but until I knew them or listened to them, they wouldn't have been in that initial list necessarily. We sent out an opportunity for people to nominate folks. And so we broke up almost 500 nominations. I think it was about 460, 470 or so. Hang on. Nominations that came in.
I got a question here. How many nominations did I get?
You got half of one. It was like
Jimmy,
half height.
Why didn't you nominate me, bro? You should have been nominating me.
I had no idea there was even a nominating process.
That's fine. Go ahead, Matthew. I'm not obviously I'm nobody's favorite preacher. Go ahead.
But yeah, so I got to start listening to these guys. And, one of the things that I did is I write a lot. And so in the background, I would just start a playlist with a few sermons and I would just start writing. If somebody kind of pulled me in, I'd minimize the doc and start listening to them. And I found that more and more that the harder part was picking 12 guys from those 400 or so guys because I didn't listen to a terrible sermon. I heard some that were better than others, that kind of deal, but all of them were faithful to the gospel, faithful to the word, staying true to the text, preaching that text, not just preaching their own thing. And so that was just a great encouragement to me as I walked through or listened to those guys. And then as we narrow them down, over the years, there's been different approaches to the SBC, pastors conference or any conference, the kind of regular conference circuit guys, the small church pastors conference that they did a few years ago. There's been different approaches, but as I think about, especially during COVID, we were in a weird time zone in the mountain time of New Mexico. And so I got to watch a lot of churches, quote unquote, wake up as the day went on, would start watching churches, live streams there in, Florida on into Texas. And then as we prepared for ours, and it was just a good reminder of some of these churches just had the iPhone sitting up on a music stand and just going for it. Some of them had the full-on production, but all of them were just trying to be faithful to preach the word. And so I just started thinking about that in terms of the pastors conference, that when we gather in Anaheim or wherever we gather, you've got churches or pastors coming there and non-pastors coming there, but you've got pastors coming there from churches of 30, 40, 50 people. Pastors coming there from, 3,000, 4,500, more or less. All of them have, different stressors and different struggles that they have in their particular church and context, but all of them still have the same mission, and we might be going about it in different ways, but we all have that same mission. And so I just decided to just really listen to those and try and break them down between what we have on any given Sunday. I think 61 or so % of Southern Baptist churches on a Sunday are under 100 people. And so we kind of use that as sort of a marker for, we wanted to have 5 or 6 guys that were in churches under 100 people. And then, of course, we had a few mega church and large church, medium church, all of that as well. And so I would just say that if you want a taste for what happens every single Sunday in the Southern Baptist Convention, that you should come to the Anaheim Pastors Conference, because what we're going to have is we're going to go through the same book together. Everybody's going to have a text from it, make our way verse by verse through it. But you're going to get a taste of the mega church guy all the way to the small church guy that's been there for about a year and a half, I think, is our youngest preacher at his church, or newest preacher, all the way to one that's retiring, church planter, established church, replanter, all of that kind of stuff. And so it really just is going to showcase what happens every Sunday in the SBC.
That's awesome.
And in no way, shape, or form are you going to be part of it?
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking, I wasn't angling for it. I was just curious, how many people might have said.
Even when we got our man Matt heading it up, you get no love.
I figured you could have just said dude, actually you got a lot, but we're so close, it would look like favoritism, so I couldn't put you forward. You could have said something to make me feel better.
You've been blacklisted for a number of reasons.
I'm not allowed to preach anywhere.
You're not allowed to preach.
I have to put on the event for me to preach. Almost. It's almost always the case.
Even when we got a guy that actually likes you.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No, in fact, the Presbyterians will invite me before Baptists invite me to preach
That's
somewhere.
true.
So that's fine. I'll tell you what, man. I was looking through the conference speakers.
Oh, well, let's change it.
Yeah, we'll go back. We'll get off of me.
We'll get back. Let's go back.
Unless you want to talk about the toilet that you're too small to sit on.
Excuse me. First of all, if I'm too small,
my legs are longer than yours.
No, they're not.
What's your inseam?
No, what?
What is your inseam?
What's yours?
I guarantee your inseam is probably 26.
Nope.
I bet it is.
But you're close.
Yeah, see?
My
legs are longer than yours.
That
your torso is longer than mine.
That way I can tell you're at least close on that one.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring.
Yeah.
All right. So what I liked, I was looking through these conference speakers, and I'm not being funny.
Here we go.
I don't know who most of these people are at all, which I think
I love.
That's... Yeah, listen, love Matt Chandler. Matt Chandler's great. I don't need to hear. I can hear Matt Chandler anytime I want. Any of these guys that are super well known, it's I can hear them. I don't care.
It's not even about that. I don't care. It's what you mentioned on the front end there, Matt, about they have different stressors, different viewpoints, different oppositions, and I think for the vast majority of Southern Baptist churches, it is not real to them, right? It's like the stories and the object lessons and all that, it's not relatable because they're not able to relate at a level that the rest of the SBC pastors are at.
Yeah, so you've got guys that have churches of 700, 2,500, and more, but then you've got these other guys that have churches of 80 or 50, all in the mix. That's great. I like
and
that. And I like that I don't know them because, like I said, my point was I don't care to hear somebody that's really well known because I can hear them anytime. They're everywhere. But these are our people. These are Southern Baptist people, preachers of all stripes. And I have more confidence. I'll just be honest. I have more confidence in guys that are showing up to preach here, that are pastoring churches or doing whatever, than I do in the guys that are traveling around recycling messages for their the big events that they're going to.
So I haven't looked at the list, and but actually I have Matt right here.
Hey, why don't you ask Matt? He's right here.
Yeah, can I ask Matt? He's right here. As far as the mix goes, because I think a lot of times the speakers are more urban, right? They come from an urban setting or a big city setting, and I think we forget about rural. Yeah, how's the mix there in demographics wise?
Yeah,
or communities, I should say.
Yeah, specifically, we've got some of the mega metropolitan areas Houston, right outside of Houston with the Woodlands and so forth. We've also got, kind of college town with Auburn, Alabama. Linwood, Kansas would be one of those. It's a rural town. One guy that we have listed there, I think might be listed in the list as Baltimore, Maryland. He's really well outside of Baltimore. Omar Johnson, who was actually saved at his church, discipled in that church, later became an elder in the church, and then is now the preaching pastor of the church. Just really a neat story there. And then we've got a couple of guys local to Anaheim or near Anaheim. And so we've got a mix of urban, suburban, rural, kind of that mega metro area with Houston, really all down the list. One guy that you were touching on, just some of the things that being relatable. We've got, I think, representing on that stage those that have endured long seasons of ministry. The Al Jackson is retiring after 42 years at his church. Turned down just about every opportunity to preach somewhere. Turned me down a couple of times, and then finally relented and said yes. And I was about to just like drive there and just beg him, because he's exactly what we want, is guys that just love their church.
Yep.
Say that we're going to be here until God takes us home, or, we're ineffective, that kind of deal. All he did at his church was just preach the word and train up pastors. We also have a guy, Matthew Mueller, who has an incredible testimony after being a combat veteran and so forth. But he comes back, launches his church, and then COVID comes. Mm-hmm. I think he launched it about 3 months before COVID. That derails everything. All of us experienced the stress of COVID in different ways, but not all of us obviously have tried to launch a church or a new ministry in COVID. And so we've got two guys in that category that endured through it, persevered through it, and are thriving on the other side of it, or maybe we hope on the other side of it, maybe at the end of the Greek alphabet. But so we've got a little bit of that, and so you kind of look at the list, and from every side of the SBC is on that stage. What I didn't think about, and I'm sorry, Joe, is just those that are vertically challenged. I just didn't have like a demographic on that.
It's called, listen, just so you know, it's called heightism, and it's not okay. All right. Yeah. Just because, you favor listen, Jimmy's over here. He can't even use the toilet at work. Like some of us have challenges.
Matt, what's your inseam?
34.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I ain't there.
No, I know. You're shorter. Your legs are shorter than mine.
They're not short. What are yours?
29.
You're 29?
Yep. That's my inseam. I wear 30s because it's hard to find 29s. Yeah. Who's the midget now?
You are.
What?
I don't think that was appropriate.
I
don't think you could say that.
I could say it.
I don't think you could say that.
If I'm a midget, I can say it.
We're getting canceled.
Okay, I don't care.
Way to cancel us.
Nobody can
canceled us.
Nobody canceling us.
You're canceling us.
You know what? For me to get, we'd have to be like on a conference tour or something to get canceled. I don't think.
Oh yeah, or just be part of some like SBC pastors conference. Oh wait a second, never mind.
Listen.
Actually, is now a good time for us to talk about the sponsorship, Matt? We really appreciate the SBC's Pastors Conference sponsoring our podcast and bringing us out in June. Now, how many episodes did you want us to record live?
I think about 12 would be good.
12 would be good. We can take care of that.
We can rock these things out. It's easy when you just wing it.
You just wing it. You got to prepare. You just got to do your thing.
All right, listen, Matt, where do they go for information besides your Tumblr account? Where do they go if they want information on the Pastors Conference? Where do they go online?
Yeah, sbcpc.net.
Okay.
sbcpc.net.
Okay.
Your guy Brian Malcolm is ultimately going to be our webmaster and so forth.
Oh,
so
really? I didn't know that.
To update all of the names and all the info for the event and
nice.
Registration and so forth. But really, where we're posting the regular content is on Facebook and Twitter and MySpace. And so on there, I think Twitter is SBC Pastors Conf, CONF, and then it's our full name on Facebook. And so every day we're kind of giving highlights on who these guys are, ways to hear their sermons, that kind of deal.
Great.
Just so everybody gets a feel for who they're going to be, because, coming in, that was the other side of the Pastors Conference, wherever you go, any Pastors Conference. Sometimes the guys, what to expect, that kind of deal. But sometimes it's like you have no idea what you're going to get. And so we made a commitment early on that they were going to affirm the 2000 Baptist Faith and Message, the Chicago Statement on Inerrancy, and just have that as sort of the bare bones, kind of minimum for our guys, and then find out, do they lead their families well, their churches well, and so forth, and faithful in the SBC. And so that's kind of how we came to the list.
So, Matt, you mentioned they're going to be going through a book. Is there really a point when we could just go listen to JD's?
Isn't that the same thing? Isn't that what they're all going to use JD's outlines, right?
There seems to be,
Man, I got nothing.
I know. You are a good man. You don't want to enter into that nonsense.
What book are they guys? What book? Have you guys announced that? I just don't want to.
We haven't announced it yet.
Okay. All right, you guys are going to hear it here first. Go.
Yeah, we're going to announce it in January. So I'll come back.
Cool. Oh, yes. He just said he'll come back for that.
I don't know why you can't announce it here. Why? What's the big reveal? Who cares?
Some people like that.
I don't know. Hey, Matt, before we go, real quick, how many waffles do you eat in a year?
Oh my goodness!
In a year, 365.
He does a waffle a day, at least.
I know. But people don't know that. People might know who follows Matt Hensley. They can't follow him. He's on Tumblr. Nobody knows what Tumblr is.
No, on Instagram he does it too.
I know. Just roll with it.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
my bad.
Whatever.
Well, thank you, Matt. How can people find you online?
Yeah, on Tumblr, of course, as has been mentioned. And also at M. Hensley on Twitter is where I'm most active, and of course, Facebook.
Just Matt Hensley. At Matt Hensley. Huh. No numbers. No numbers. Look at that, Jimmy.
M. Hensley.
M. Hensley, yeah. No numbers like you. Nice.
Well, we'd love to get thoughts. You can follow us online on Instagram and Twitter at Doc and Devo, or on Facebook /Doctrine and Devotion. You can head to the website, doctrinedevotion.com. There you can contact us. You can send us an email blast up the store, jofostore.com, and grab some gear. We got that fresh pot every Monday and Thursday. We got blog posts and video content over at the website. We've also got that all-access exclusive content. You got Banter Truth on Tuesdays, Weekday Wisdom Monday through Friday. Head on over to doctrinedevotion.com/all-access to register today. Speaking of register, make sure you head on over and register for the SBC Pastors Conference. I know I'm going to be there. I believe Joey is also going. I've already registered. I've already signed up. I've already signed up.
Not live. They can't register yet.
No. I've already got my hotel, though.
Yeah.
I've already booked the hotel.
Didn't get my hotel.
I'm not. Why?
Because I need to stay somewhere.
No, well then better book it now before.
No, you're supposed to do it for me.
I'm not doing it for you. It's my point.
Just do it. Wrap it up. Nobody cares.
Later.